In Georgia, marijuana is still illegal, even though in as many as 20 other states in the United States, marijuana is legal both recreationally and medicinally. Hemp is legal in Georgia, but it has to have a very low THC content. THC is the component of marijuana that makes it intoxicating. It gets you high, so to speak. And there are trace amounts of THC in hemp, but marijuana, like less than 1% THC, like half of 1%. Whereas marijuana could be, in the 70s, marijuana was typically 6% THC. And now with the new hybrid strains that are coming out of Colorado and California, you can find marijuana that can be as high as 20% THC in concentration. Now that presents a problem for Georgia law enforcement. Georgia law enforcement for the past 10 or 15 years has been using a 3-part field test to determine what is and what is not marijuana. And essentially it analyzes the plant's leafy materials and it tests in 2 different ways for the presence of THC. But under the new Georgia laws, which legalized hemp, THC is present in both hemp and in marijuana. Hemp and marijuana look identical. They're indistinguishable. When you burn hemp or marijuana, they smell the same. The only difference between hemp and marijuana is that hemp has very little THC and marijuana has typically 6 to 20% THC. So the only way to test and distinguish between hemp and marijuana is to perform a test on a gas chromatography mass spectrometry device, which can tell what the percentage of THC is in the plant material or marijuana oil or THC oil that's being analyzed in a particular situation. Well, the GBI has taken the position, the GBI is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, that they will not test marijuana unless it's involved in some sort of sale, possession with intent to distribute, or it's more than an ounce, 28 grams. So if it's less than 28 grams, they just won't test it. So there's no way to determine the difference between small amounts of marijuana and small amounts of hemp. So in effect, in Georgia, there's a presumption of innocence and there's also a presumption of hemp. Until and unless the state can prove that the marijuana has THC concentrations above that of hemp, they can't distinguish it between hemp and marijuana. And so it's very difficult for them to prosecute. There have been a few prosecuting attorneys who have found labs out of state that they're having test the marijuana, and they're trying to put their testimony up, video conferencing devices like WebEx and Zoom. But those are generally the exception. Most prosecuting attorneys' offices are just not prosecuting marijuana less than an ounce. So if you're in a situation where you're arrested and you have less than an ounce of marijuana and they're proceeding with the charges, you need to get an attorney who's thoroughly versed in the new hemp marijuana laws and marijuana and hemp testing so you can get your marijuana charges dismissed.